Hi, I'm Adrianne Lynch with the local Badass Businesses, and I have Jamie Ging with me with Carl Woody Custom. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, hobbies. What do you like to do?
So, my husband and I have been married for almost 28 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
So most of that time we've been self-employed. We had a restaurant and motel back in rural New Mexico. And then 5 years ago, I helped he and my son start our family air conditioning business, Mechanical. So it's our oldest son, Nick, and Robert own the company. And then our middle son, RJ, works with me in the fabrication shop. And then we have a 20-year-old who hasn't quite decided what he's doing with it. And we are really excited. We're expecting our first grandbaby at the end of March.
And that is so exciting.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm tired of boys.
I hear it. I live in an all-boy house, so I totally understand.
It's fun. I think I was meant to be a boy mom, but I'm really excited about pink and flowers and that kind of thing. So, yeah. As far as hobbies, I mean, obviously running two family businesses now, I don't have a ton of free time, but I love anything crafty, sewing, stained glass. I've pretty much done it all.
And so when you launched your business of the Carl Woody Custom, did that start out? Did you just like to do that like as a hobby and as on the side? And then how did it turn into a business?
So my dad was actually a sheet metal fabricator for over 50 years. He's a household name in that industry in Iowa, which is where I was born. I transplanted to Arizona when I was 12. But if you've ever seen the Des Moines Capitol in Des Moines, Iowa, my dad actually put the gold leaf on the dome and created the technique for that weld. So he's quite famous for that. So it's kind of in my blood. Our middle son, RJ, was working in our office, and he's just not made to sit at a desk. And in high school, he would, in agriculture, be working on a project. And the ag teacher came up to me one day and he goes, I'm so frustrated. If I give him plans, he screws it up. But if I just let him go with what he sees in his head, he does it perfectly. So I think it's genetic. So it's kind of always something I wanted to do. And it does go hand in hand with air conditioning. Eventually we will get into HVAC, duct work, and that kind of thing. Because we're finding that the shop that we're using, a lot of his stuff is outdated. And so when our guys get in the field, they're having to modify everything that he's created for them. And it costs a lot of time and money on the air conditioning side. So this was just kind of a natural add-on or addition to our family businesses. So I will actually be fully stepping out of Mechanical and focusing just on the fabrication shop. So I'm really excited about that.
That's really exciting. And what kind of made you decide to do that and step into launching this business?
We were just looking for a way, I'm in my mid 40s, going towards the latter 40s, in his early 50s. And because we've been self-employed and we've kind of moved all over and done all these things, we don't really have a lot put away for retirement, to be honest. And so we're like, okay, we need to start making our money work for us, invest in another business. And because he comes from a food industry, he was like, oh, let's do a food truck. And I said, no, we'll be divorced. I can't do the food business again. It's so stressful. So I said, hey, how about I open a fabrication shop? It's something I love to do. And then it can add on to your business by being able to provide you with better, metal work that you need to do your job. But I can still do the artsy side of it as well.
Well, I think that's great. I agree with you. I can't imagine on the food truck or restaurant industry, every once in a while my husband would mention like running an ice cream shop, and I'm like, I don't want to live in an ice cream shop. Like I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. Not that you can get away from air conditioning, but I can sit on my couch and watch TV and answer the phone.
Right.
But the restaurant, you have to actually be there.
Yeah, yeah. And in this day and age with our youth and how they handle working, you have to be there all the time. It's not like it's just changed so much on that. So tell me, I'm going to try to share here. Let's see if I can share a page. I was pulling up some of your work. See if I can get to it here. because I was clicking around and I was looking at your photos, and I see you kind of have a variety of the type of work. Are you able to see this?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So I was looking at some of these of how your technique is. I mean, that looks amazing.
Thank you.
And then I also see, so what kind of technique, or what is this? Because I see you have woodwork as well. Is that correct?
Correct. So we have, most people aren't going to understand what this means, but we have a 5 foot by 10 foot plasma CNC table. So we can cut metal up to 5 foot by 10 foot. Plus we have welders and, benders and all of that. So as far as metal work, we can do just about everything. Other than HVAC ductwork, we're lacking some equipment that we just can't fit in our current shop. So as soon as we get moved, we'll be able to add on even to what we can do in metal. So that's really going to be our primary focus, is the metal work and doing custom commercial signs and that kind of thing. We also have what's called a glow forge, which is, they call it a 3D printer, but it is a laser. So I can cut and engrave on acrylic, wood, marble, just about any kind of material. I can't engrave on metal. It's funny, people are like, oh, I want this metal engraved. Metal doesn't actually engrave. You have to do what's called marking it. So there's a special spray, or you can have it, powder coated, and then the laser removes that material to leave an imprint in the metal. So the two kind of go hand in hand. It's nice that we can combine, materials and make some really cool stuff that way. The only problem with the laser is we're very limited to size, because they call it a CO4 laser, which is a high powered laser, but it's made for the everyday crafter, so to speak. So we can go 2 inches high by 20 by 11, and that's pretty much it. I can fit bigger materials in the machine, but that's going to be the space that I can work in as far as engraving and cutting.
I think it's great. It looks amazing. What would be some advice that you would give to other women? Because you've obviously been in more male-dominated industries your entire career. So what's some advice for women who are, whether they're launching it, trying to get into a business that's more male-dominated, or just launching their business, advice you'd give them?
So it was interesting when we started the air conditioning business, because I knew nothing about air conditioning or mechanical anything. Now I know way more about air conditioners than I ever thought I'd ever want to know. But the biggest thing for me was just learning everything I can, because once, in a male-dominated industry, they're big and tough and they know everything. And once they figured out that I knew what I was talking about, then the respect started to build. I remember going into one of our parts houses when we first started, and there was this gruff old man at the counter, and he scared the crap out of me. And now he laughs when I tell him this story, because I was like, this guy just he's scary. I don't want to be here. But I placed my order and everything. And about 6 months later, he went and gave us the best review we've ever had on Yelp. And I was like, I thought that, you were the scariest thing ever, because here I am, this little girl walking into this parts house. But it's interesting now, they used to watch what they say, because, it's all guys. So they're swearing and, talking crap or whatever. And now I walk in the parts house, and if it's a new guy, he'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I dropped the F-bomb. And I'm like, please, I work in this industry. It's gotten a lot easier, for sure, because now launching this, because people are already confident with my knowledge of our industry and what we do and that kind of thing, it's made it a little easier, but you just got to have some self-confidence that you can do it as well as a man can. And I go out and help with duct work and insulation and all that. And, my boys, somebody will say, oh, do you want me to help you carry that out to the car? And I look at them like, no, boys at home, they know that I'm really independent. They don't even offer to help anymore. It's so boring to me when a man offers to help me do something. Do it myself. So that would be the biggest advice, is just really be confident in yourself and learn everything you can about your industry so that they'll take you seriously.
I think that's great. Now that your boys are grown, What advice would you give to those moms who have the younger kids launching their businesses that back then you thought this is insane, but now that they're grown and you've been through it, that you really see was not, you overstressed about that of life?
You know, our kids were always involved in every business that we've had. Our oldest son was cooking an 8-hour shift in our restaurant when he was 13. Like, just teach him the work ethic. Let him see how hard it is. Let him work alongside you, because that's going to be the most valuable thing. My 20-year-old actually, he is his own entrepreneur. He bought a vending machine that he owns at Ted's Shooting Range right here in Queen Creek, and he goes once a week and fills the machine or whatever. And you see them slack on other things in life, but when it comes to work, my boys know, like, when it's time to work, it's time to work. And that's like the most valuable thing that we taught them, is by example, because they saw how hard we work. They don't work as hard as my husband. No one in the universe can, because the man doesn't stop, and the neighbors laugh because he'll be up at 2 a.m, you know, doing stuff in the backyard because he can't sit. He's never. But they all have a really good work ethic, and it's really awesome to see. And then just don't sweat the small stuff. The best thing about being self-employed when you have kids and everybody says, oh, I want daycare to raise my kids. I'd rather daycare raise my kids and me to be there between 13 and 18, because that's when they're forming their adult ideals. And that's when you have to worry about where they are and who they're with and what are they doing. I had Douglas's last year of high school. On a given day, I had 15 teenagers in my house, and I was okay with it because I knew where my kid was and what he was doing, and he was surrounded by kids that had the same values. So I tell young moms that all the time. Don't worry about somebody else watching them when they're little. You be there in the critical years from 13 to 18, because that's really what forms them as adults.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting because a lot of moms do worry about the younger stages. And I know, like, when I have always run businesses and I was home more when they were little, then they went to elementary school. I worked more. And then when they were getting into that middle school, I was like, got to go back and be my own entrepreneur and be around more them, or that at least they know I can be around. So it is interesting because I think your perspective as your kids get older does change, because those 13 to the 18, they'll be 15 and 16 next week. And yeah, it's crazy when they hit high school age and everything. And the same, I can have 7, 8, 9, I don't know, teenagers here, and I don't care like that. Yeah. I'd rather them all be here, and I know where they're at. So completely understand and agree with that. So perfect.
And the fun thing is, now that they're adults, because we did that and we were with them so much as teenagers and their friends were here, as adults, they want to hang out with us. They invite us over for card night, or, hey, we're making pizza tonight, come over and have dinner. And it's like, people are like, what? You're spending time with your kids? Yeah, we like them.
Yeah, I look forward to that stage as they get older. I know, I was telling someone the other day, I said, because when I'll be 16, and I'm like, I'm ready for when we can be friends and not the mom, I'm ready to like phase out of the mom phase, and when you can be their friend and guide them, but you're not truly mom all the time of discipline side. And
the really cool thing is, I have 2 amazing daughter-in-laws, and we're friends, and I love that I didn't have them, but they're still my children, but we're friends, and it's a cool relationship.
That is so cool and fortunate.
Yes.
So I'm going to put your information below. So the Facebook page, and then we'll have your links there so people can find you if they'd like to place orders or have questions about the work that you do. So I appreciate you being on our podcast, and I just thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.